Okay, this is PowerPoint Chapter 3 Video Lesson 6, and in this lesson I'm going to talk about the master slide and then also your rehearse timings. Now in our slideshow presentation I showed you the navigation buttons down here with your design view, your slide sorter, your navigation, and your slideshow. And in the slideshow we had created, actually gave us a running slideshow with animation of our titles, transitions, more animations with our bullets, our key points, a custom path with the graphic, and then also the smart art graphic with the text pane and being able to format the smart art graphic. We inserted the date and the time, and notice that the date and time is updating. Today is November 20th as I'm recording this, and so it is updating based on what the computer date and time is set. So that being said, we are going to take a look at the actual master slide in the slideshow pane. And when you go to a slideshow up here, you have different tools that you can use for your slideshow. And we're going to review that in just a little bit. But I want to show you the view. In the view, you have a button that's called the slideshow master. Here's your slide master, your handout master, and your note master. And what that does is when you bring this up, notice it's picking up the background format. And for certain slides that you edit, for instance, I was on the title slide, so for all title slides, if I edit this to have a certain graphic or a certain icon or logo or text, it will apply to all the slides. For my design slides, for the themes, for my content editors with my slides, for the master title style, and then also my dual content editors. So I'm going to take a look at the design and the master. And we're going to go ahead, since we're in the master slide view, we're not in the design view right now, we're in master slide view. I'm going to go ahead and look at the insert, and we're going to try to find a clip art of a beaker that we can insert. And I may just use the one that we used in the very beginning to insert this beaker. And I might just want to have this show somewhere on the slide, maybe right down here as like a logo, okay? And then I can do that for this slide too. Insert that beaker and then place it in that area. Not quite the same size. Let's try to get down to the same size. Might nudge it a little bit, and just not the same size, okay? And then if you want text, same thing with text, you can do that with text. So what I'm doing is I'm placing a beaker on these slides, and then I might want to insert a text box. So the text box might be presented by Mrs. Twaddle, or your name, whatever text box you decide to choose. And you can format this, you can change your style, your font size, your coloring. I might choose like a brownish color, just so it doesn't really stand out, but it blends in, okay? So I've got this text box here. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to place it on the master slide and paste it. I might need to copy it again. And let's go over onto this slide and paste. There we go. And maybe on this slide, it's on here, it's on this one, and it's on this one. So this is good enough. So when I close out of my slide master, and again, there's view, and I close out of my slide master, So here's my slide master and I close, okay? Now I can see that this emblem is shown on every slide, okay? Because I put that in. And on my title slide, I have my presentation. So just because I didn't put it on these slides exactly, I put it on the slide master, and the slide master allows it to show on the slides. For some reason, it didn't work with my presented by, except for on my title slide, but that's okay. I can go back into the slide master and try some of the other slides to get it to fix, okay? So that is your view and slide master. Now we have handout master too, and we have note masters. And the handout master and the note masters is the same concept, except for when we print our slides, we're printing the handouts and the notes. Okay, the next thing I wanted to show you was under that slideshow. And here you have these icons or buttons to use for your slideshow. Now a lot of times presentations are developed for kiosks. Kiosks are those type of things that you might see on a bank sign where you have scrolling information and it repeats. And the kiosk is actually repeating information that's been programmed into it. Sometimes you might see a kiosk at an airport showing you where your plane gates are, your departures and your landings. And other times you might just have informational kiosks such as at event centers. The Peoria Civic Event Center has a kiosk there that you can walk up to, and it will tell you a calendar and the dates of the showings of the events. And it's more in this type of presentation where it's a slide type show. You just click on the calendar and it brings you up to the slide to give you the information. With kiosks, kiosks are usually recorded slideshows. Which basically is a button that you can click on and narrate, like I'm doing for this movie, I'm narrating. But there's another button here too that I want to show you, and this is Rehearse Timings button. I'm going to set my slide to the title slide and go through a very quick presentation. Now when you guys do your actual presentation for class, you're going to be asked to do a 3 to 5 minute presentation, so you can judge how long your presentation is by rehearsing the timings. So I'm going to click on Rehearse Timings, and you'll see a little time clock pop up right here. And as you're talking through your presentation, you're rehearsing. So hi, welcome. Today we're going to be selecting a science elective. As you're rehearsing, it's going to time you. So I'm going to go through this presentation as if I were going to present. And imagine I'm talking to a group of high school students. Hi, I'm here with Mr. Johnson today, and we're going to be talking about selecting a science elective, and we appreciate you coming. And the reason we think this is important because we want you guys to be on track as you graduate high school. So there are branches of science that we offer here at the high school. We have life science, earth science, and physical science, and these branches are at different levels so that as you move from freshman to sophomore, sophomore to junior, junior to senior, you will be taking a different level of a science class. So before you graduate, you need to have 8 semester credit hours. And with that, you need to know that you have to have at least 1 laboratory class to graduate. And then also the scientific method is applied to understand natural phenomena and their causes. And this is really important because when you get into scientific method, you're talking about theory, you're talking about hypothesis, and you're putting things in place. So you're making an assumption and you're talking about a theory and you're trying to prove that. And so that's where your science actually plays a key into that critical thinking of your lifelong learning. So the scientific model looks like this. You have a hypothesis, you conducted an experiment, you observe, make some observations, you develop your theory, and you determine whether or not you need to redo your experiment, your hypothesis is true or not. And this is applied in all the science classes. So we hope that you will enjoy the science credits offerings that are here at the school, and Mr. Johnson and I are available to talk to you about any offerings that may be of interest to you. If If you have any questions, just let us know. When you're done, you either hit the escape key or the little play button, stop button right here, and then this prompt will come up. And this prompt says the total time for the slide presentation was 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So as you guys are rehearsing your presentation for class, you need to be at least 3 minutes. This didn't quite make it. Do you want to keep the new slide timings to use in the slideshow view? And if you keep them, this is automatically going to put the timings for every click that I made on the slideshow. I would suggest you click no if you're going to keep rehearsing so that you don't have those timings there. But let me show you what happens when you click yes. When you click yes, it then gives you a time. So here I spent 29 seconds on this first slide. Just the hi and the welcome and the introduction. And then I spent 17 seconds on this slide. And then 41 seconds and then 43 seconds. So these time frames are in here and they can't be changed unless you go back to rehearse timings again. Okay? So the rehearse timings is a good tool for you to go through your presentation. Every time you click, it's recording the number of seconds you stay on each slide as you move through the presentation and you decide to keep your timings. So here I am on the last slide, I'm clicking, it's going to bring up this prompt again. Do you want to keep your timings? Remember my old timings? Look at my new timings because I clicked through that very quickly, okay? Now, you don't want to have these timings here during your actual presentation because when I run the slideshow, let me just go to the view. Go to slideshow from the beginning. I'm not even clicking and everything's going to start coming in after those quick seconds because those rehearsed timings are embedded in those slides right now. So I have no hands on the keyboard or the mouse right now. My slideshow is running because I accepted those timings. So it's really important that when you present that if you're going to use these timings, they match up with your speech. Otherwise, I would say do not have those timings on these time slows. So don't click yes, click no so it doesn't accept. Okay, that ends this lesson. I covered the master slide and the rehearsed timings on the slideshow. In the next lesson, I'll talk about the print.